one of my first videos ever. The beginning of my, I'm going to take a page from Aunt Lemon, downward spiral into pure anger. I've seen things in this society that make no sense anymore. I've seen things that most men would call crazy. If you look back not 15 years ago, people would call the situation we live in absolutely bonkers. Absolutely disgusting. A breach of privacy, a breach of human rights. And because of those, America is no longer the home of the free, land of the brave. Land of the free, home of the brave. It is no longer that at all anymore. So, this used to be a semi-gaming channel with just me streaming on what I wanted to. But now I feel like that if I do not speak up and I do not say anything, my voice would be silenced forever. And I do not want that. Nor do I want anybody to want that. Or have that inflicted upon them. Even if I don't agree with you, I'll still always defend your right to speech, even if I don't agree with you. Because you're able to share your opinions and actually talk. One of the biggest things that started the sudden shift from this channel is the gradual erosion of the American people's rights. Not just the American people, the rest of the world's rights too, to varying degrees. Most people, take the famous conspiracy of 9/11 was an inside job. Alright, why? Well, one of the biggest reasons doesn't even matter if 9/11 was an inside job or not. The end result of 9/11 was the Patriot Act, which meant that the U.S. government can now spy on you, your conversations. I wouldn't doubt if they're listening to me right now. I got a phone right here and I got a laptop right next to me. Lord knows any other devices that are smart devices in here. It starts with that, and they're like, oh, we're doing it for your protection so we can get terrorists. And then it goes further and further into that. You end up getting censorship of your media. Now you can't talk about certain things. Oh, you can't talk about, slavery. You can't talk about naughty words in children's books. No, you can't talk anything bad words about our history. And people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Kids shouldn't be exposed. Not just kids. People shouldn't be exposed to those hurtful things. And then they end up taking some of our best literature ever, our best literature, movies, media ever, and they do basically a modern day version of book burning. Like those episodes of the Golden Girls that they got taken off because they're not politically correct anymore. Well, no, duh. They were made in like the set. I'm not sure when Golden Girls was made, but I know they were made way before I was born. And then it moves on to things like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, because they happen to say the N-word. Guess what? People said that back in the day. It existed. The author's not doing it out of hate. He's doing it out of actual timeliness to the time period he's writing in. They said it back then. It's historically accurate. Is it good? No. But the classic saying, those who do not learn history shall never learn and are doomed to repeat it over and over again. That mostly works with the bad history, but it sometimes works with the good history as well. Not much. But when people say history there, it means bad. And then, not only that, but you get books that, the whole entire point is that racism is bad. Like To Kill a Mockingbird. The whole entire end goal of that was that being racist is horrible. But because it says the N-word there, and the person who says it is a racist, and he's condemned by his town, and he's shunned for it. Spoiler alert, he's killed at the end for it. And he's brought to justice for his crimes. But because it's in the book, doesn't even matter the context. It just says the N-word. Ban it. Get it out of there. Same thing with Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. Get it out of there. Nope, can't have that. Not at all. Not at all. And then you have this whole thing about guilt for certain classes of people that I am pretty sure make people like Martin Luther King Jr. roll in their dang graves. Saying, using your voice, your own political opinion, to talk for other people. I'm talking about the left here. Silencing them, oppressing them by saying, oh, you're oppressed, let me help you out, the savior, the guardian angel, your hope. You are oppressed and I will save you. I will moderate your life. I'll do it that I think is good for you. And nothing. It doesn't work and it never will work. Ever. And then the erosion of our rights continue from that. And then, you get points on, getting banned from places like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for wrong think or wrong speech. If I post my political opinions on Twitter, I get banned in a day. I get banned in a day. I would legit get banned in a day. Because unless you are a massive public figure, and if you are a massive public figure and you have these opinions, you're just going to get canceled. You're just going to get canceled. You just will get canceled. Not only that, but if you're a person like me, gone. Account gone. Doesn't matter. Account is gone. Gone forever. Won't let me come back. Because I have wrong think. And then now you're called a racist if, you disagree with your politicians. You're called a bigot if you disagree with your politicians. America used to be founded on the ideal principles of consent to the governed. A very libertarian aspect. I'm not talking about modern day liberals. I'm talking about, liberals even from just 20 years ago. Even liberals from 15 years ago? 2005. But all that's eroded because every single step along the way, the government will try and make you complacent with your own oppression. The whole wear a mask, social distancing thing. Oh, we've been quarantined for so long, we gotta, quarantine more. Kids won't be in schools, people lost their jobs. It's to destabilize everything. Kids not going to school, so they don't learn. And because they don't learn, they just accept whatever the government tells them to. They don't know how to question authority anymore. Now, why do I have to wear a mask? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to social distance? I want to play with my friends. None of that. There's, okay, wear the mask to go to school. Even some places you can't even say go to school. Some places aren't even opening back up. It's all online learning or distance learning or whatever you want to call it. Basically, homeschooling. Basically, just homeschooling. But even worse, government mandated homeschooling. A lot of kids back in my hometown who missed their graduation, missed their prom because of all this stuff. None of this happened during the swine flu. None of it. None of it happened during the swine flu. None of it happened during bird flu. None of it happens during regular flu for the whole year. So why this one? Why this specific virus? Why this specific brand of beer? Why this one? Because we live in today's time. They can weaponize it. They can weaponize it against us. And they'll do it under the guise of your own protection. It's if a government figure ever has to say it's for your own good, don't do it. If a government figure says it's for your own good without reason, don't do it. So without reason. Because they will be the first people to take away your rights. They'll be the first people to subjugate you and make you complacent and calm enough to where you can accept your own oppression. People hated the TSA when it first came out. People were talking about it. People were like, oh, I hate the TSA. And people still hate the TSA to this day. Mostly everyone in my generation, people who are, you could say, 19 and above, have always lived with the TSA. Always. We have always had lived with the TSA. And there are people who remember the days before the TSA. They remember the days before the TSA. And they find it oppressive that even though they can barely stop any actual terrorists, they barely stop any terrorists from coming in the planes, everybody else has to suffer because of that. And like, oh, it's for your own good. We gotta protect people. We gotta do this and that. It's not. It's not, and it never will be. And then you go into the same thing with the mask, the famous mask. These old so-called saviors, and there's the people who are Karens. There's certain situations where you should wear them. However, the public condemnation of wearing a mask. I go to college. I won't say which college, but I go to college. And today at the dining hall, now you have to wear your mask or you're getting your food. Okay, whatever. I'm semi-okay with that. And then, you sit down, you start eating your food. I know I'm going to get up for seconds, so I get up. I get up for seconds, and guess what? I put my mask in my pocket, because I just sat down and ate. All of a sudden, here comes a dude they legit hired. They have a new position up front, and he's just been standing there the whole time. And his only job is to condemn you for not wearing a mask. Oh, excuse me, sir. You're supposed to be, where's your mask? I need you to be wearing a mask if you're in here. And I said, oh, it's in my pocket. I just sat down and he's like, sir, you need to be wearing a mask while you're in the line. And I'm like, okay. I'll do it when I go back down. Because I just want seconds. I just wanted seconds with my burger. Just wanted some fries and ketchup, and that's it. That's it. That's all I wanted. But no, I have to wear my mask here. I have to wear my mask there. And classes haven't even started yet. That might narrow down locations. Classes haven't even started yet. And this is the food level when not everyone's moved in yet. Not everyone's moved in yet. Imagine the lines. Oh, legit, I went to breakfast this morning at the dining hall because there were so many people going to breakfast. Obviously, it's a college campus. The lines were backed up outside. A little bit outside, and guess what? Nobody was 6 feet apart at all because it's impossible. But they don't care about that. They legit do not care about that. They want to oppress you. They want to dehumanize you. They want to demoralize you, make you depressed, make you dejected, make you sad, and make you miserable, and make you content with living the way you are. That way you never rise up against them. You never question authority. You never do anything of the such. Never. Because they'd rather have you complacent they'd rather have you do nothing than do something. They want you sad, miserable, dejected, lonely. They want you lonely. So you can't share your thoughts with your peers and your friends and your family. They want you lonely. That way you're all alone and you're sad and depressed. And the only people you'll be able to listen to are the people up top saying, it's for your own good. It's for your own good. It's for your own good. Until you're eventually a brainlet who espouses the same things they do. Oh, why aren't you wearing your mask? Why aren't you wearing your mask? To get my keys for my dorm, they would not let me in. They're like, oh, we require everybody wear a mask. I'm like, Do you know how many people touched the door handle walking in this place and probably wiped their face right after? Even if only 1% of the people who touched that door wiped their face, there's about can't say the exact number because I honestly don't know it. I think it's like 28,000, probably less because of this virus, or well, not the virus, because of the media behind the virus and the people behind who want to politicize the virus, not because of the virus itself. Because of that, now I have to wear a mask wherever I go. Can't eat without a mask. Can't get my keys without a mask. Can't go in here. And I don't even know how classes are gonna work because they haven't even started yet. People are gonna be touching the doorknobs everywhere. Touching this doorknob, pressing the elevator button. How many people press that goddamn elevator button? I have no idea where the fuck their hands have been. I don't know. I don't know where their hands have been. And they don't know where my hands have been. You know, I'll wash my hands more because of this, because, you know, I don't want other people. I don't like being sick. I don't like other people being sick. I don't. I really don't. But you gotta get over it. You do. It's been 5 months. In the span of 5 months, everything's gone to nonsense. 5 months ago, everything was relatively okay. Everything was relatively okay. You could say what you want. There were no riots in the streets, no masks, no oppression. People were talking about the virus. That's about it. People got it. Some people died, yes. That happens with everything. You know, and then they literally built hospitals that are empty because they oversaturated the numbers. Like, oh, we're expecting like a bajillion new cases to happen. But guess what? They didn't have a bajillion cases. That was literally the hospitals like with empty staff, like maybe 1 or 2 people in there for overflow. And that's it. That's legit it. That's it. Yet we live in modern day times where people they have it too easy, and there's no response, there's no accountability for actions. If you're in one of those mobs, those riots, and I'm not calling them protesters, when you start throwing bricks and lobbing bombs, shooting guns, that is no longer a protest. It is a riot. And if enough people do it, it's an insurrection. I love protesters. Because that's what this country is founded upon, protesting. You know, the most famous case that people use, Boston Tea Party. No taxation without representation, but guess what? Everybody's taxed, and you can go out and vote. If you're 18 and above, you can go out and vote. Go ahead, do it in a couple months. Go ahead and vote. Vote for wherever you want. But not only that, they want to take away the rights that the citizens have in here. And I say they, I'm meaning the Democratic Party. They want to make it extremely easy for unregistered people with no ID, felons, and undocumented immigrants to be able to have the right to vote. Undocumented illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants, they want them to have the right to vote. When they haven't lived in this country, they don't know its politics as well as we do. And even if they do know the politics as well as we do, it's the culture as well. The culture from town to town is so vast. I could go from my home to downtown, and the culture would be completely different. Because the town I'm from is completely separate from just a couple miles down the road. Because there's communities. Not as much sense of community as back then, but there's something. You know, we're all from this town, we're all from this zone, we're all from this state, we're all from this country. And if you want to talk about humanity, we're all from this world. But the powers that be are trying to take those away from you. And they are taking those away from us. They've done it to me. They've done it to me for 3 days straight ever since I've been here. Ever since I've been here. Gotta wear a mask to eat. What was it? They took away seating in there, they took away like 1/6 of the chairs. All right, how's that gonna work when dining like happens? Like when eating happens? That's a big lightning strike. Didn't expect to be that big. When actual eating happens, when the schools start back up, like a startup, like classes start and people go out, they want you depressed, they want you sad at the moment. So that way you're fine with this. And everybody around you saying, "Oh, it's fine. It's needed. You know, you gotta flatten the curve. You gotta do it for everybody. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Wear your mask." All wearing your mask does all wearing your mask does is dehumanize you. You do not see a person walking by if they are wearing a mask. You see a thing. You see a thing that looks human. It doesn't have a mouth. It doesn't have a smile or a frown. It doesn't have any emotions besides the eyebrows. And eyebrows can only convey so much. You see a thing when you walk by. As long as you don't have to interact with that thing, you do not see that as a human being. You see it as a thing. Because it's no longer human to you. It is dehumanized. It's a thing. It's a humanoid thing that has the same body type, but it has no mouth. It has no face, has no beard, no chin, to varying degrees tattoos. And I'm even going to say, even though I don't agree with them, piercings. Because that's freedom of expression as well. You don't see any of that. Nothing at all. You just see a thing that walks by, and you don't know what that thing is doing, where it's going, why is it doing that, why is it here. You don't. You can't get you can't like, smile and wave. Because if you just wave at someone, it's going to be weird. If you smile and wave at someone down the street, then they'll probably smile and wave back. A nice little nod, like, how you doing, sir? How you doing, ma'am? Without that, nothing at all. You can't smile and wave at your neighbor walking down the street, doing his morning jog or whatever. You can't. You can only just wave, and without the smile, nothing can be reciprocated. Well, is it an angry wave? Happy wave? Is it like a goodbye? Is it a hello wave? No one knows. No facial expression at all. None at all. And the censorship. Oh boy, the censorship. The censorship that goes from destroying statues to literally burning books. Modern day book burning, mind you. Like taking old serialized commercials off the air. Not my bad, I'm not serialized. Syndicated. Taking syndicated shows off the air. Makes it so that you no longer can watch the things of the past. And when you can't watch the things of the past, you can't learn. At the beginning of the beginning of the Looney Tunes episodes from the 70s, there is a notion, a little 30-second clip of Whoopi Goldberg stating that these are products of their time. These cartoons are products of their time. And the depictions in these are wrong, and have always been wrong. They always will have been wrong. But to act like they didn't exist, to censor them, to act like they never existed at all. Never ever. And that's what history is. History is the country version of looking back at your mistakes and seeing where you've improved. There's good history, there's bad history. It's the story life of a nation. It's like looking in a yearbook, seeing where you are in that period in time to where you were. The birth of a country is like seeing your baby pictures. You're young, you're stupid, you're dumb. You're a little baby who needs help. And then you grow. and you learn and you experience, and you do some cringy things in your past, like, oops, slavery happened. And yes, there is some sort, very little of which, of actual racism, actual oppression, actual stigmatization beyond that of political values. I could walk up to a black guy, and now he would probably have, in today's society, a TV, a microwave, an oven, a refrigerator, running cable, electricity, water. He would have almost all the basic utilities ever. Because guess what? He's not a second class citizen anymore. And a meritocracy, which doesn't see you by what you look in the outside. No, Martin Luther King Jr. said, see you by the content of your character, not the color of your skin. But now, the roles are reversed. Now it's on white people. Now white people are oppressed. White people can't do this. White people can't do that. White people are racist. For everything. Cancel white people. Take away their jobs. Take away their money. Take away their businesses. Take away their homes. Burn it down. Burn down their homes. Take away their weapons. Take away their guns. And another thing, if a country wants to take away your guns, it means they are about to oppress you. The Second Amendment is there in case the First Amendment doesn't work out that well. The Second Amendment is there to back up the first one. That's why it's the second one. If it wasn't as important, they'd put it at number 10 or number 9. They would. They put it at number 10 or number 9. And all I want is for this society to go back to the way it was the day before 9/11. Not the technology, not the science, not the medical, not entirely cultural. I'm not talking, time travel us back to 2001, September 10th. I'm not saying, do that. I'm just saying, I want to be able to go out in the street or sit at a dinner table with someone, have a political discussion, and nobody's trying to rip their heads off. Nobody at all. Nobody at all. Nobody's trying to rip their heads off. We just say, oh, you think that? Okay, well, guess what? You're my friend, or you're my companion, colleague, worker, whatever you want to call it, family member. And we move on that. And we have a good day. Get a dinner, sit at a bar, play some video games in some instance. But now everything is politicized. Games are politicized, movies are politicized, YouTube content is politicized, colors are politicized now. Colors are politicized. ID cards obviously are now politicized. Masks are politicized. Having property that you own is politicized. All I want is for this country to go back to the morals and values it upholds. 4th of July weekend, 2020, 4th of July weekend. 6 children died on the 4th of July weekend. I believe 1 died the day after. 6 children, and guess what? Despite all the Black Lives Matter protests, every single one of them was black, African American, whatever you want to call it, person of color, colored persons. Which one's racist, which one's not, I don't know, flip a coin. Flip a coin. Whatever you want to call them. Dead. Dead. Just dead. And you got black families, mothers, fathers, family members, community members, that will never get that kid back. Ever. Because they were snatched from the hands of the people that want you afraid and hurt. They want you afraid. They want you to cower. They want you to give in. Ever since police, and this is about police, and this is about Black Lives Matter as well. Do Black Lives Matter? Yes. Do all lives matter? Yes. That's the point. We're human. The same species. Homo sapien. The same species. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I don't care if you're a conservative. I do care a little bit if you're an extreme liberal or an extreme leftist. I do care about that. However, at the end of the day, we are all human. We are smart. We are sensible. We are crafty, cunning, intellectual. We're strong, but we're also weak. We're also afraid. That's the human condition. We're everything and nothing at the same time. And it is differences that make you stronger. If people didn't have differences, we'd all be little gray blobs, running around, and that'd be it. All men will look the same. Every woman will look the same. There'd be no reason to do anything. Because we'd all be the same. Nobody would have any wants and desires. Nobody. Today's politicians on the left, maybe a couple on the right, I'm not saying that the right is 100% good. It's not. I'll never say that the right is 100% good. I won't put 100% of my faith into the government at all. No, I won't. What I'm saying is, I want the liberals to go back to the way they were in 2007. Calm, sensible, reasonable, and actually able to have a political debate. Back in the day when people would want to debate you to try and change your opinion. Because if you actually talk and have discourse, they might be able to change your opinion. They might be able to. You might be able to have a calm, sensible discussion. Be like, I didn't think about it that way. Guess what? My opinion changed. Now, it's if you don't agree on my opinion, you're immediately omega wrong, and everything is wrong with you in society. And I hate you. I hate your family as well. People have been killed for stating their political opinions. People have been killed. People have been killed for stating not even just political opinions, opinions in general. People have been killed for stating opinions. Killing someone, murdering someone over saying all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives is considered part of all lives. Black Lives Matter is a part of all lives. It's just a very tiny subsect of them. Every single one matters. However, imagine if you're saying all food matters, and then someone's like, "What? You don't think burgers matter?" No, burgers matter too. All food matters. All food matters. Like, what? Are you saying no burgers matter? You don't support burgers? And someone killed you over that. Someone destroyed your home over that. Someone killed your family after that. You're like, whoa, what's going on? All food matters, which means burgers matter too, to an equal degree. No. Because they're saying Black Lives Matter more. Black Lives Matter more. And they don't. They don't matter more. Black life is as equal as Asian life, Caucasian life, African American, Native American, Indian, talking about Eastern Indian, Canadian, European, Britain, Japanese, Chinese, English, whatever. All lives matter. But they want to take this away from you. Division. Abraham Lincoln said it himself. A house divided against itself will not stand. That doesn't just apply to a house. It applies to community. It applies to a society. It applies to a country. It applies to the world. A world divided against itself will not stand. A country divided against itself will not stand. A state divided against itself will not stand. A town divided against itself will not stand. A house divided itself against itself will not stand. Nothing will stand unless we all put aside these petty differences. There's differences that actually matter. There are. But these petty differences doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You could be a straight black man, a gay white woman. Doesn't matter to me. Guess what? As long as you're good, honest people, I don't care. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy. As long as it doesn't infringe on anybody's rights. As long as it doesn't infringe on anybody else's rights or oppress anybody else in the process, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. As long as it doesn't hurt somebody, you can, waste all your money, buy a gun, shoot it in the air a bunch of times. If you wanted to, go ahead. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, go ahead. You could start controlled fires if you wanted to. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, go ahead. But it's division. It's the intersectionality. Everything. What? Oh, you're white. But you're also white and gay. But you're also white, gay, and trans? Look at all these labels they're giving people. All these labels. Labels, labels, labels. You can be labeled with a bajillion different things nowadays. Oh, your race. Your gender, even though there's only 2 of those. Your race, your gender, ethnicity, political belief, what part of the country you're from, what part of the state you're from, what part of the world you're from, how many family members you have. All these labels do. The only thing all these labels do is destroy ourselves. Some labels do need to exist. Some labels do need, there needs to be differences. There's got to be some markings between some things. There have to be. I'm talking about the petty differences, though. Okay, guess what? You're black and white, so what? Human. Okay, gay and straight, so what? You're human. You're Republican, conservative, Republican, Democrat. You're both human at the end of the day. But not only that. Not only will the government directly try to inflict this communist propaganda onto you. Not just the communist propaganda, but hating white people, hating men, hating all those people. Your own teachers will do it to you. Your teachers will say this country was founded on oppression, founded on racism, bigotry, sexism. And you know what? Guess what? They're right. They're absolutely right. They're correct. But the thing is that, guess what? Yes, I'll admit, this country ain't perfect. No country is. No country ever is. We don't live in a perfect world. We're human. We're not perfect. That's the thing. But guess what, as humans, we can do? We have the ability to improve. I'm going to say the meme. Improvise, improve, adapt, overcome. We have the ability to learn and pass. We're one of the only beings that have the ability to take knowledge from now and have that knowledge exist 100 years from now. Animals can't do that. Cats, dogs, birds, lizards, giraffes, donkeys, dinosaurs. They can't do that. We can. We can learn from our mistakes, not just our mistakes, previous generations' mistakes, people mistakes, politician mistakes, community mistakes, everything. We have the ability to pass it all down, which is why one of those reasons those giant internet archives exist. The Wayback Machine is literally that. But guess what? Now the Wayback Machine is like, oh, this content should not be, seen as like, what we support. It just is what it is. And you know what? They're right. It's times have changed. But the politicians that say they want to help you are the number one people who want to destroy you. California, Democrat-run state, is the only state in America, as of right now, that is currently in debt. Debt, bankrupt. It's bankrupt. But guess what they're going to do? They're going to give all the money to all the local citizens, all the illegal aliens, so they can move in and, with chain migration, bring in their 11 family members. I know that's a stereotype or whatever, but it happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. It happens. Not only that, but California, as of the last time I checked, has a 13% tax rate. 13%. You can buy a soda for $1. It costs you $1.13. Imagine you want to buy a house. You want to buy a game console. You already spend 10% more on that? Plus an extra $3? Buy a new PS4, $300 console. Hope you're ready to drop, see off the top of my head about $340 on it with tax. $340 on it. My state has half that, about half. My state has about half. So you buy a $300 thing. Okay, guess what? You're only paying $321 on it. Or, well, actually not $321. It'd be $320. It'd be $320.99 because you gotta have that one. It's not $300. It's $299. It's not. Whoa! It's like whoa. It's not 1 cent. $300. Not only that, but everywhere these riots are happening is Democrat run. Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, LA, California, New York. That's just off the top of my Minneapolis. Just off the top of my head. Just off the top of my head. New York has one of the biggest. It's the national hub for Corona. Because the people there have no idea what they're doing. The people have no idea what they're doing in New York. And I say that because guess what? New York, their public school system, I forget the name of the mayor or the name of the governor, has said that the school system is around, like I said, this is off the top of my head, 75% minority. 75% minority. But guess what? The schools there have about half, I believe it was 55%. Half the people who go there, 55% of the people who go there fail. They fail. And instead of, getting, better education to these people, better living conditions for these people, they just chalk it up to racism and call it a day. More taxes, more taxes. Guess what? Raising taxes doesn't get you anything. It lowers taxes. Raising taxes only temporarily, short run, boosts revenue. Temporarily. I believe it's Andrew Cuomo, who's the governor of New York. Andrew Cuomo. The guy who said to put all the elderly people who had corona in retirement homes. Put them all in retirement homes. Go ahead. Because guess what? Older people vote Republican. And the less people there are to vote Republican, the more chances the powers that be can go ahead. And I know you guys have seen Biden. I know I'm speaking to nobody right now. And it's just me talking with one of my moderators. I know it's just me talking right now, but I know you guys have seen Biden. You guys have seen him talk, seen him speech. And if any, somehow, I don't know how, but if any liberal comes across this video, if you tune me out and immediately shut me off right after this, I'm right and I win. I'm right and I win if you shut me off right after this. Because you don't want to hear your own fallacies. You don't. You don't want to hear how you're wrong So you just block out everything out and go, la 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 la, I'm right. No, listen. Biden will not be your president of 2020 if he wins. The people who will be in charge are Ocasio, Nancy Pelosi, and Bernie Sanders. Because they're the people who are driving behind this guy. The people who are piloting Biden from the bunker, basement, whatever you want to call it. Has he had a good run? No, but he's had a run. It happens to all of us. Well, not all of us, but it happens to most of us. The older you get, your brain starts going down, and it just happens. Just retire with dignity. Yes, 8 years ago, were you, fine? Yes, okay. Take your not W, but take your, thing and go. But inherently, Joe Biden is racist. And there's a lot of proof on that. I forget exactly when he said it. I think it was back in the 80s or whatever. But Biden said, I don't want black people coming into these school districts because it will turn them into a racial jungle. A racial jungle. That one famous quote, poor kids are just as smart as white kids. As if white kids are better. And telling you, not, I don't even care if he wants to persuade you to vote for him. Vote for me. What is it? A blank vote is a vote for me. Say, a black vote's a vote for me. A white vote's a vote for me. Whatever you want to say. He didn't say that at all. He's not suggesting it. He's not encouraging it. He's saying you're wrong. You're not black if you don't vote for me. You're not black if you don't vote for me. Imagine you about to vote for Biden. Not because you're black. Not because you're a male. Not because you're a woman. Because you're a Democrat. Or a liberal, whatever you want to call it. The left. You're on the left. And all of a sudden he's like, a black vote is a vote for me. You're like, whoa. I'm not voting for him because I'm black. I'm not voting for him because I'm left. No, my bad, excuse me. You're not voting for him because you're black. You're not voting for him because you're a man, woman, whatever you are. You're voting for him because you're on the left. Or a Democrat, whatever you want to call it. Imagine if Trump said that. You're not white if you don't vote for me. Media would have lynched him. And he would have been canceled and indicted with another impeachment. You're not white if you don't vote for me. If Trump said that, he'd be immediately lynched politically on stage. The media would come after him. Everyone would come after him. Doesn't matter what Biden says. They'll pass it and they'll say, oh, he just whatever. I want you to listen to a Biden speech. And can you make out anything from those? Anything, at all, coherent. It's a bunch of half sentences that fit together later. Half sentences. A bunch of half sentences. I personally don't like the man. I don't like Biden, what he's done. His past political things, he's one of, guess what? Biden's one of the reasons that college tuition is so expensive for any of you college people out there. Because back in the day, he signed a bill as senator that gave precedent to other states to do it as well, that college debt cannot be filed under bankruptcy. So guess what? They raised the rates because they knew that you'd still be indebted to them. Biden single-handedly raised college debt for everyone. If you're struggling to get, college, you're swimming in student loan debt, guess what? It's all Biden's fault. Probably didn't even know that the whole time. If you did, good for you. You know who to vote for now, not Biden. I want to end this today with a message. Any of your comments down there, I don't know who it will be, possibly. Any of your comments will be heard. No, even if they disagree with me, they will not be silenced. At all. free public platform for everybody, even if you disagree with me. Because at least I'm happy you're able to speak. You're able to say what you want. These people want it to be where if you say something wrong to them, you're gone. You're canceled. You're done. You're fired from your job. You're expelled from your school. You're gone. Bam. You're done. You're done. Your career's over. No. And the best thing about YouTube is that it's anonymous. With some information I gave in, you could probably, pin down my estate. And some of the things I said, you could probably pin down, what college I go to, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. There's some people out there who can do that. I want to end this talk. And this isn't going to be the last one, because I'm very angry. I've been very angry recently. I was angry today at the dining hall when I was told that I had to wear a mask to go get food, even though I already had a mask on when I walked in. I don't even know how this is going to work. They've limited it to only 4 people per dorm now. Only 4 people. 4 people per dorm. It's me and my roommate, and we can only have 1 guest each. Before, it was as many as you could fit in there. However many you want. I'm going to end the stream now. Not stream. End this video now before I ramble too long. And I'm going to do the thing that every single YouTuber says. Because why not? But if you like the video, give me a comment. There you go. Tell me what I can do better. Tell me what you want to talk about. If you want me to talk about any specific topics in general, I'll do it. First video is about to end.